How's it going, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be using something I'm not usually doing. We're going to be using a full suite of Pale Heart weapons with Mantle of Battle Harmony using bold endings to try and get as many supers as possible. With this setup, you can attain easily, depending on how many kills you're actually getting, 3 stasis supers per game. We're also pairing it with Winning Hand, so you also get the ability to have a detonation on any weapon kill, as long as it is a precision kill. Always nice to have that. We're also using Glacial Harvest, so either a Headstone, a Melee, or a Rift Freeze will proc some Glacial, or some Stasis Shards, which will proc Frost Armor, and while we have Frost Armor, we slow targets from either incoming melee damage or outgoing melee damage. Also building into Stasis Weapon Final Blows giving a shard, in case I get enough kills to proc it. It may be inconsistent, but it's an option to give us more Frost Armor. Shards of Whisper of Conduction, so that they track to us, and Torment, so that while we have Frost Armor, we gain more grenade energy per hit, or per tick of damage per second. Also using Enhanced Demolitionist to give us as much as possible. Here are the mods, aspects and fragments, and fashion for those interested. Very simple setup, just plans on us winning our gunfights as often as we can. So the more gunfights we get into, the more that we win, the more supers we will have. You can effectively have a 2-minute Shadebinder super, and then if you can continue that chain, or that streak, you can continue to get those supers in about 2-ish minutes, 2.5 minutes. Really impressive for a 9-minute, 16-second super. So, dim link for this will be down below. Discord link is there for you guys if you want. I post teasers of the videos ahead of time. I'm usually in there playing PvP or a number of other games, mainly Warframe and currently Mecha Break playtest. So, you can usually catch me in there. And then, with that being said, what would you change about the loadout, and how would you guys run it? Let me know in the comments down below, and with that, I'll let the gameplay roll. Have a good one. Alright, so we got a quick match this time, since it was a join in progress, so we start the match at 6:48. So we're getting into a couple gunfights here, trying to look for any opportunity to give myself a jump in super energy right off the gate. So we're just going to kind of keep going around, picking damage when I can, and when I can't, I either get A, over aggressive, as demonstrated here, but I got the kill, which means I got super energy, which sets me off to get a super within about 2 or 3 minutes. As you can see though, I started the match less than half a minute ago, and we're almost at a quarter energy, off of some damage and a kill. That's pretty quick. So now we're just trying to get into a gunfight. Bad aim on my part, but also just Rose being Rose, which we ended up running into quite a bit this match, but when you get to recording a video this late at night, you tend to run into lobbies like this, so gimmicky little setups like this don't perform all that well this late, but for what it's worth, it does pretty well. So with this spawn in, we grab some ammo, that way we have some opportunities to either A, take down a fusion rifle or a shotgun, and also just give some more super energy, because with the weapon origin trait giving us super energy on weapon kill, it's worth it to try and get the kills with it, because we can get more supers more often. So now I'm going to go ahead and chase in, get the kill, more super. So now I can try and get closer to activating my super around the 430 mark. So now we're crossing the 3/4 threshold. Just try and pick my fights when I can, pick damage, and when I realize that I'm not going to win, I back off, try and fight a different lane. Here I'm going to find a shotgunner coming to rush in, so I try to throw the stasis melee. I miss my melee, unfortunate, but I do win the fight there. No one was close enough for me to freeze, so I just try to go into the fight here, take the hunter and get him weak so that he pushes back. I hear the amplified titan rush in. I try to get away, but 4th horseman, so that's kind of cool. but now I'm looking to see where the next enemies are going to be and which ones I'm going to run into. So Amplified Titans run at me. I now push into B, trying to pick some damage, charge some super passively through damage, and or mainly looking to get a kill. So now, what my goal is here is to try and pick as little damage as possible, and or a kill, straight up, to finish my super off so I can push into their spawn and cause some problems for them. So now I cast super. I think I may get through this one nicely. But I just have not used the super in a while, so I'm just flailing about with it like a fawn who's just barely getting used to his legs. See what my teammate's doing here. Try and pick some damage. This archetype of hand cannon, while it's fun to use, is not great at range, like you'd assume something like this to somewhat be. It falls kind of between 140 and 120 territory, with split damage profile, meaning you're realistically closer to 140 than anything else. That right there, if it was any other super, would have not done that. But alas, it is a new super, so I give it a little bit of time before anything changes for that one. Now I'm trying to pick some damage again. I back away to prevent myself from dying to the swarm nades. Try to freeze a target so I can push back in to get a free kill. Weapon and my melee tracking just kind of went out the window while trying to deal with two smokes. I'm watching for a blink and or a triple jump or high jump, either one. Try and take him out. My weapon doesn't have barrier, so I'm not going to try and shoot the barricade a whole lot. I'm going to turn around with my teammate, try and pick as any kills as I can here. Try and push some damage out, while also trying to make sure that I don't die to him, so I just kind of sit, stay, wait a minute. He pushes out a little bit before I do, so I end up winning because I still have my eyes on the prize there. That enemy wasn't watching for me, he was watching for the one that's going below me. Now I'm going to move to the left side here. Shotgun's there. So you'll see, since I had frost armor, when he shoulder charged me, he got slowed. I didn't have to punch him. I'm finding that to be a very unique little tool that I have in my inventory now, especially for stasis subclasses, which by themselves are not all that great. Stasis Warlock is probably the best, but not by a whole lot in the grand scheme of stasis. I saw a machine gun, so I back away and try to fight the other side. The hunter got away a little bit faster than I was anticipating, so my stasis rift was kind of wasted. But as we'll see, we're at 3/4 super, almost full super. So now I'm just kind of trying to play my life while also gaining minuscule amounts of super energy so that I can cast again and go ahead and take it into their spawn. Also watching the scoreboard, because with a minute left we're at 118. If I can take it into their spawn, we can win the match. So I spawn in, get the super, so now my goal is to try and find where their enemies are, which is on B, and follow through with the super and try to take as many with me as possible. I lose track of where this one is, but then I catch track of him there, use the fusion to take him out. Now I try to come down here. Unfortunately I missed the target on my right, so now I'm just trying to take the Titan out on my left. I'm really bad with this stasis melee so far, so I'm just throwing it when I have it. But the main thing is to use the hand cannon so that I get as much energy as possible. Swarm nades unfortunately tracked a little bit far, but as it stands, here we are at the end of the match. And in 6 minutes and 48 seconds, we have 2 supers that clock in at 916. That's pretty solid for a join in progress. And then I believe we ended the match there with about 25 kills.